This is the award-winning Lee Pitts Live.
The award-winning Lee Pitts Live is brought to you by Hodges University. Build the future you at Hodges University.
Good morning, Southwest Florida. Welcome to another edition of Lee Pitts Live. And who, me? I'm this guy, Lee Pitts. Lee Pitts Live. It's kind of strange having a television show with your own name. So sometimes people call me Lee Pitts Live. So I'm thinking I'm going to change my last name to Live and let Pitts be my middle name. Big shout out to Charles Connell at the News Press. Did a very good Sunday feature story on Lee Pitts Live in his 25 years. He went back to my childhood and worked his way up. I thought he did a yeoman's job. So go to the News Press and get that edition. This was the March 13th edition, but of course you can catch it online as well. He's making me famous. Speaking of famous, we got some famous people here today that's going to be a guest on the show. Get a chance to talk to Michelle Trumpkett. She's a fancy name, contract consumer lawyer for Florida Rural Legal Services. Also get a chance to talk to another famous person. She's a candidate for the Supervisor of Elections. You've seen her everywhere because she is in the community, touching people, smiling, and building consensus. That'd be Carmen Salomé, like resume, if you can't remember that. And her website and all that'll be on the screen as we go through the interview. And then later on in the show, we'll go to the Lee Pitts Live 25th anniversary celebration and get some footage from there as well. That's at the end of the show, John, in the editing room. We'll be right back. Southwest Florida, I'm so thrilled to get her for a second time on the show. The future supervisor election for the Lee County, Carmen Salomé, like resume, and notice that little accent on her name. We bumped you in.
Hey, thank you.
Good to get you here. I see you everywhere. You even at the Lee Pitts Live 25th anniversary celebration. You're in the handsome husband.
Yes, thank you very much, and congratulations to 25 fantastic years.
Yeah, all right. How did you enjoy the celebration?
It was fantastic. We enjoyed it immensely.
You know, we're going to replicate. We're going to do some more stuff like that in the future. So, you know, just keep bringing people out. It's not going to be celebrations all the time, but bringing people out. I am so happy that you decided to get into the political process, but you've been involved in government for quite some time now. Tell the people about your involvement in government.
Well, I have a master's degree in management and over 17 years of local government experience. I was the person on the other end of the phone helping you solve your issue.
How does that help you right now in terms of what you will be doing when you become the supervisor of election?
Well, I think it helps me because, first of all, I know what works and what doesn't work. And unfortunately, I was never in a position where I can help make the change. So I'm hoping that the folks in Southwest Florida, the Lee County, will elect me to be their next supervisor of elections, and I can make positive changes.
But I know personally that you were always trying to reach out, even in your other position, to get people involved in Lee County government opportunities there. So you'll carry that over with you. Why did you decide to run for supervisor election?
Well, you know, for me, it was the elections of 2012, seeing neighbors and friends in line for such a long time, and some people not even be able to cast a vote. That moved me to get involved. I thought to myself, I can either sit back and complain, or I can roll up my sleeves and do something about it. And I have a passion for the community, to serve the community. So,
tell us some key points in your platform.
I am running to improve the transparency and accountability in that office, because I think that folks need to know where the tax dollars are being spent and how. I'm looking to improve the customer service because the office works for the taxpayer. And I'm looking to increase the communication between the office and the community.
Okay, so you just named three things. Are you saying at the present time all of those three things are flawed? And why?
There's always room for improvement. There is always room for improvement.
What are you hearing when you move around in the community now, shaking hands, kissing babies, talking about your plans for supervisor election? What are you hearing from the community in terms of their whether they like or dislike what's going on currently?
Folks are ready for positive change. They are ready for competent leadership. They're ready for someone with a vision to make it better, to make Lee County one of the better counties to cast a vote in the state of Florida.
And what is your plan for improving technology? You think technology can play a major role in voter turnout and all those other things pertaining there too?
Absolutely. Let me just, I think it's important for the voters and the viewers to know that technology is dictated by Tallahassee. While there's people out there talking about great ideas, it's Tallahassee that sets the tone and tells the state what you're going to use and how you're going to use it. And I'm a proponent of working with the IT department and making sure that we have cutting edge technology, but that we're technologically compatible with the rest of the state.
Mm-hmm. Now, to me, and I want you to correct me on this, I think that a person who wants to vote will vote. How would you increase voter participation, say people who decide not, you think there are things that are making people not vote as much?
I think education is key, first of all. I think education is key. So it's not only the where, when, and how to vote, but it's educating on the importance of becoming involved in the democratic process, because that's where change happens.
Mm-hmm. Here in Lee County, what's your thoughts about voter participation? Do you think it's good, bad, or somewhere in between?
Yeah, it depends on the election cycle. So on the off year, it tends to go down, and then on the odd year, on the even year, when a governor or president, it tends to go up. But again, education is the key, and grassroots community involvement by the Supervisor of Elections office, I think, will help there.
What would you do to ensure that the problems of the last election do not happen under your watch?
Well, in the last election, 6 months before that major presidential elections, precincts were consolidated. And instead of thinking I'm going to have more people coming to less precincts, there was just no strategic planning there, no foresight. So I would try not to consolidate before a major election. But if I had to, I'd make sure that every piece of equipment was deployed and not placed or stored in a warehouse like they were this last time around.
I think a position like a supervisor of election requires substantial leadership skills. What in your background has prepared you to lead?
I was a budget analyst for a large city in upstate New York, where I was assigned 4 large departments, and one of them was a $62 million police department budget. So I know how to work with people. I understand budgets. I have a collaborative spirit. Here in Lee County, I worked with 2 county commissioners. As a private citizen, I've been on several community boards and citizen boards. So just as I brought that citizen voice to those boards and committees, I will make sure that the citizen's voice is heard at the ballot box as your next supervisor of election.
When you become the supervisor, see, I keep saying when you become the supervisor of election, how about people being able to talk to you directly? Will there be a barrier between you and the public? How will you go about that?
I intend to be a very accountable and accessible elected official.
In the minority communities in particular, there's some uniqueness in terms of how minorities vote, mm-hmm. where they go to vote, and those types of things. How would you engage the minority community even more?
Again, community education is key. And the fact that I've been out in the community now for several years, I've already established a relationship. People know me, people trust me. Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing. But I want to impress upon the community how important it is to get that minority vote out. Politicians understand power. And if you're part of a group that can deliver votes, they're going to pay attention to you. So, and we have the Black and Hispanic community here have the numbers to impact local elections and get their candidate in office.
And you have the opportunity here to come here to the Enterprise Center, nestled in the heart of Fort Myers and the Dunbar community. What's your thought about the work that's taking place here at the Enterprise Center?
I think it's fantastic. I think it's, over the years, seeing it grow more and more and impacting the community, both economically, it's a fantastic program.
Final question. How important do you think the churches are in being involved in voter turnout?
Churches can do a lot. The churches can do a lot in educating, again, community is the key, educating the voter to vote their values.
Okay. Well, it's been a pleasure to get you for your second interview. You're making me famous.
Thank you so much.
Stay right there. Let's bump you out and let everybody know that your website and all that has been appearing on the screen throughout the interview. But go ahead and say your website and again.
My website is Carmen Salomé, CarmenSalome.com.
Okay, for those who say it can't be done, they're usually interrupted by those like Carmen and all the fine people who are associated with her campaign who are doing it. We come back, find out what's going on with Florida Rural Legal Services right here on Lee Pitts Live. Keep it locked.